We finally have some news, and it looks like Red Bull might be in some trouble. Red Bull have been found guilty of breaking the 2021 cost cap regulations. The cost cap, which was brought in for the first time last season, was implemented to restrict the larger teams from forcibly spending their way out of any trouble. The cap was set at $145 million for all 10 teams, although there were some exceptions due to the addition of sprint races last season, but the teams had to submit their financial reports for the 2021 season in March of 2022. It's taken until a few weeks ago for rumours to start circulating around the Formula 1 grid of teams that seemingly have been found in breach of the cost cap regulations, namely Aston Martin and Red Bull Racing, though we were unaware of the calibre of the breach, as this comes in two different forms. There's a minor breach for an overspend of less than 5% or less than 7.25 million, and a major breach which would be given to a team that had spent even more than that overspend of 5%. The regulations are very strict on what is considered a breach, and the potential punishments that could come to the teams are as follows. For a minor breach, there could be a deduction in drivers or constructors championship points, suspension from stages of a competition, limitations on aerodynamic testing or other testing, or a reduction in the cost cap for next season. Additionally, for a major breach, teams could face all of the above, plus a suspension from the entire competition, or exclusion from the championship entirely. So as you can imagine, the Formula 1 world went into meltdown, and everyone's favourite bickering pair of team principals, Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, were dusted off and wheeled out to discuss the implications on the 2021 season. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and we finally have confirmation of these rumours that they were indeed true, and the FIA came out saying this. Aston Martin is considered to be in procedural breach of the financial regulations, whereas Red Bull is considered to be in procedural and minor overspend breaches of the financial regulations. So Max Verstappen's 2021 title is all of a sudden looking even more sketchy than it did after what happened in Abu Dhabi. But what happens next? Well, there are currently two options. The teams will be summoned to the FIA to discuss the breach and find a punishment that is deemed fair for the infringements. If the team and the FIA can come to an agreement between themselves, called an ABA, then it will be implemented and it's job done. If the FIA and the teams can't come to an agreement, then it will go one step further and can be referred to the Cost Cap Administration Panel. They will then look into it further, into how and why the breach has happened. All this means is that we are unlikely to hear about what the penalty for each of the teams might be for quite a while, and it's all going to be done behind closed doors. But it's Formula 1, and we know that the grid really isn't very good at keeping secrets. So just look at the case of the drivers' market. We knew about 90% of the announcements were going to be happening before they actually happened, so I'm sure we'll hear some rumours speculating around this too. Let me know what you think the punishment for Aston Martin and Red Bull should be in the comments down below. Leave a like whilst you're down there, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you next time.
Look, I've spoken to the FIA. I've apologised if any offence in any way was created, because it wasn't the intention. You know, my frustration wasn't with